can't stand it anymore because the dragon is always lording it over all the animals, and they've tried everything, it doesn't work. So they know it's dangerous to ask Coyote for help, but maybe they'll appeal to his vanity and he'll help. And they go, Coyote, we can't get the dragon to stop his bragging and stop his annoying us and telling us how great he is. Will you help? Coyote thinks for a little bit. He's not feeling horny that day. You know, well, I don't know. It'd be kind of fun. Take out the dragon. Have all the animals be impressed with me. Okay, if you give a big feast at the end, honoring me, I'll take care of your problem. The animals aren't sure, because you can never totally trust Coyote, but they say yes. So Coyote goes to the dragon's lair, and the dragon hears him and says, "Puny animal, what are you here for? Get away before I eat you or burn you with fire." Coyote says, "I'm here to be your servant. I'm here to be your slave." Dragon goes, "What? I think there's a big problem. The animals are not honoring you enough. The animals of the land and the air and the water do not pay homage to you enough, great dragon. And I want to be your servant to get them to realize that you're greater than they think." Dragon goes, "Yeah, that's true. And I have a plan, O great dragon, where all the animals of the land and the water and the sky will pay greater homage to you and know how great you are." Dragon goes, "Okay, fine." So Coyote makes this announcement. We are going to have a race, and it's going to be all the fastest animals of the land versus the dragon, to see who's the fastest on the land. Well, the animals wonder what Coyote's doing, but they go okay, and they have the race. And by the time the other animals are halfway, the dragons went around the whole earth 3 times. So Coyote goes, "All the animals of the land, give Coyote, homage and respect because he's the greatest of the land." And they do. And I wonder if Coyote's playing a trick on them. He goes, "Wait." So then Coyote goes to the animals of the water. "We're going to have a race to see who's the fastest swimmer in the water. All the fastest animals of the seas and the oceans versus the dragon." Well, they have the race, and the dragon swims back and forth 3 times in the ocean before the other animals are halfway across the ocean. And Coyote has all the animals in the water pay homage to the greatest animal of the water. The animals are getting more nervous here. Coyote says, "Wait." So then the sky. Coyote calls all the creatures of the sky and says, "We're going to have a race to see who flies the fastest versus dragon." Well, the eagle and the falcon and the hawk do the best job they can, but the dragon finishes it so much before. And all the creatures in the sky, all the winged creatures, pay homage to the dragon. So now Coyote says, "We need to have a big feast, all the animals of the land, water, and sky together to honor Coyote, to honor dragon." The animals think they're being tricked. Coyote goes, "Wait." So they're at this big feast and everyone's honoring the dragon. And Coyote goes, "There's just one more thing dragon will do. He will show you that he is also the greatest magician and shapeshifter of any animal on the land, water, or air." The dragon whispers to Coyote, "Coyote, what are you talking about?" "Don't worry, So, dragon, will you not show us that you are the greatest magician and shapeshifter of all the creatures on land, air, or water?" Dragon goes, "Yes." So Coyote whispers some stuff to the dragon. The dragon says some words, and poof, the mighty dragon, as big as his building, is a little dragonfly. And the dragonfly is going around, and all the animals are amazed. And Coyote goes, "Is not dragon the greatest shapeshifter, magician of all time, going from an enormous dragon to a dragonfly?" And all the animals, "Yes." And Coyote walks away because now he's horny again. And the dragonfly follows and says, "What's going on?" And he goes, "This is what you'll say." And that is how Coyote invented the dragonfly. So what's that story about? That story was interesting because many, many years ago at a house in Michigan, I used to love to watch the dragonflies. And I was watching the dragonflies, and I came up with that story just watching them. That story's pretty old, too. So what's that story about?
Respect the small things.
Respect small thing. What else? What did the dragon lack? Humility. It's a story about humility. And it's funny if you know the Coyote tales, the Coyote is the one that teaches the humility. Makes it a twist to begin with if you know Coyote's story. Okay. If we look on page 16, well, wait a second, we need to do something. Okay. We need to have some fun, not just you listen to me. I'm old. Could someone give some of these out on the other side? Or everyone? Rise Eagle, you want to get some out too? So we can get this going? We need to do something. All this sitting and staring, it'll make us ill. It's time for one of the greatest inventions of man. Who knows Tom Robbins?
Woo! Tom Robbins.
Tom Robbins said humans have only invented one thing better than nature. You know what that is? Kissing. No other creature kisses. He says if it wasn't for kissing, Tom Robbins says, humans don't need to be around. But the second best is bubbles. So let's blow some bubbles to free up some energy. Did anyone not get bubbles? You ran out. I got 24 bubbles. I told there was only 15 people here. We can share bubbles. Blow a bubble and pass it. Blow it. Help the poor bubbleless people, please. Okay. Let's go. 16 talks about different ways of viewing a story is understanding that stories have an action. Stories involve a transformation. So page 16 lists a lot of transformation stories. Page 17, 18, and 19 is what I've learned since 1970 being on a journey. I once counted I've had 19 mentors. I've been very graced. Morty will always be the greatest one. But these are what I've learned. My foremost, what I say is I see and hear with Jungian eyes. The work of Carl Gustav Jung is how I understand the world. If I did have whatever I've been gifted with Jungian wisdom, I don't know how I would do anything. Storytelling, mentoring, guiding, writing. And then I live based on many of the principles of Zen, Buddhism, Taoism. I'm not a Buddhist. I'm not an expert in anything. And I really follow the path of the Diné, which we call Navajo, and Lakota, we call the Sioux. So that's my core, is Jung, Zen and Tao, and Lakota and Diné. So a lot of the teachings come from that. Throw in a little Druidism, not the Wicca crap, I mean real Druidism. Throw in a little Sufism, little Hellenic stuff, little alchemy, and we have what's on these pages. So these are what people would use, these are what you can use for different teachings in creating your teaching story. If you look on page 20, and I hope people do this, this is actually walking you through how to create a story. You would just have to fill in the dots. You first have to get your teaching, then your ideas. Then I put many different types of stories. Teaching stories are not really character-driven. They're much more action-driven. That doesn't mean you have dead characters. So what does that mean when I say teaching stories are more action-driven than character-driven? And that's true of a lot of short stories anyway, isn't it? I mean, you don't have a lot of time to develop the character all that much.
What they're doing, not who they are.
Right, exactly. Then on page 22, what actually is the action? The location, space, and time. And this is crucial, and this takes us sometimes really to come up with what is going to be your conflict, dynamic, tension, twist, or surprise. Here's some good movies to motivate you. Especially Roadhouse, Blade Runner, and that incredible movie, meaningful movie, 300. I've only seen that 12 times. Page 23 is some more ideas. Who wants to read that very short story, Boredom, Lack of Discipline? Very short, in the middle of page 23.
Sure.
Okay?
Boredom, lack of discipline. A student said to the master, I am bored with following my breath. The master grabbed him and pushed his head underwater. Just when he was about to drown, the master pulled the student's head out of the water and said, are you bored with breathing now?
I love that story. Is that a great story? Who wants to read the other little story at the bottom, 23? Okay?
A young Zen monk was told to tidy a garden. When he thought he was finished, he asked the Zen master where he should throw the rubbish. Where is the rubbish? Asked the master as he took the broken twigs and leaves for kindling and carried the small stones to catch raindrips from the eaves, leaving only a small pile of gravel and dust, which he raked back into the garden.
Me too, isn't it? So go back to your list. Another story.
The woodwork.
The woodworker. How was the woodworker? Oh, that's right, he gets
It's a
attacked.
different telling of who
How about
You
Buddha
guys
as a
are
serial
serial
killer?
Oh!
What was the story you made for us?
Good. I have totally lost. I love the woodworker. I know it's a guy and he gets attacked and he goes off and then he goes into the woods and the next tribe comes. I might have that by the end. What was the one? The one for, you want to hear the one I told for you? I was going to save that to the end, but I can do it now. I've heard a lot Buddha and the Serial Killer. You want to hear that?
Yeah.
This actually comes from one of the greatest books ever written. I was going to mention later, Old Paths, White Clouds. How many people have ever heard of Thich Nhat Hanh?
Yeah.
Thich Nhat Hanh